Stop pushing money away, the mindset that blocks your prosperity. Have you ever noticed how money seems to come easily to some people, while it constantly slips through the fingers of others even when they work incredibly hard? This isn't bad luck. It's not a lack of ability. Most of the time, it's mindset, a silent way of thinking, feeling, and reacting that creates scarcity, even when abundance is fully available. And the most curious part? Almost no one realizes they're pushing away the very thing they want the most. Maybe you recognize the anxiety that hits when you check your bank account, the fear of taking risks with investments, or that lingering feeling that prosperity is only for a few people. None of this comes out of nowhere. These are limiting beliefs, emotional patterns, and a lack of financial clarity that shape your relationship with money from a very young age. Without financial education, even people who earn well can feel stuck, trapped in guilt, overworking, and the idea that wanting more is somehow wrong. The good news? This logic can be broken. Prosperity isn't about greed. It's about self-worth, purpose, knowledge, and solving real problems. When your energy changes, demand changes. When your vision expands, money multiplication stops being a mystery. Here, you'll understand why financial freedom begins in the mind, and how to build a rich life that actually makes sense for you, without magic formulas, but with awareness, lightness, and practical action. This is an invitation to see money as a tool, not a villain, especially for those who grew up hearing that wanting to prosper is wrong, risky, or selfish. Here, we'll talk about financial autonomy, risk, prosperity, and choices that align with who you are today, not with the fears, guilt, and limitations you were taught to carry. The emotional relationship with money. Our emotional relationship with money is rarely rational. For many people, money comes loaded with pain, fear, anxiety, and a constant tightness in the chest. Bills arrive before the paycheck. The future always feels threatening, and the mind never rests. This mindset creates a permanent state of alert, where scarcity becomes the rule, and abundance feels distant, almost unreal. Money stops being a tool and becomes a source of emotional suffering. And in this state, energy never flows toward prosperity. Much of this begins early in life. As children, we hear phrases like money doesn't grow on trees or witness arguments caused by financial stress. These financial traumas shape deep limiting beliefs that continue running on autopilot in adulthood. The result? Extreme exhaustion from worrying about bills, decisions frozen by fear, and zero financial clarity. Before talking about investing or multiplying money, we must look inward and ask, what emotion does money trigger in you today? That's the real starting point. Comparison on social media. For many people, opening social media has become a daily exercise in silent comparison. You scroll, and there they are, young millionaires, luxury cars, international trips, and a rich life that looks perfect. This triggers something dangerous. The feeling that you're behind, that you did everything wrong with money. A scarcity mindset grows when your reference point becomes someone else's highlight reel, not the behind-the-scenes of your own life. And without realizing it, your energy drains along with your self-esteem. Constant comparison fuels envy, frustration, and reinforces limiting beliefs like, this isn't for me, or only people born rich can succeed. The problem isn't seeing prosperity. It's interpreting it as exclusion. When financial clarity and knowledge are missing, the mind turns inspiration into a threat. The antidote begins by filtering what you consume and remembering that everyone is in a different phase of their financial autonomy journey. Comparing yourself, less open space to focus on what truly matters. Building prosperity that is possible, real, and aligned with your purpose. Scarcity mindset versus prosperous mindset. The way you see money almost always starts at home. Family upbringing shapes your financial mindset long before any course or book. Those who grow up in scarcity learn to save out of fear, not strategy. Those raised with dialogue, planning, and vision learn that money is a building tool. It's not about how much you earn. It's about the emotional relationship you learned with scarcity or abundance. When scarcity mindset dominates, every decision feels like a threat. Spending brings guilt. Investing feels dangerous. Prospering feels emotionally risky. A prosperous mindset, on the other hand, understands that money circulates, grows, and multiplies when there's financial clarity, purpose, and conscious action. Healing limiting beliefs isn't empty positive thinking. It's revisiting old stories with new knowledge. This internal adjustment prepares the ground for healthier choices, especially when autonomy, social pressure, and identity come into play. Independence versus autonomy. There's a lot of talk about total financial independence, as if relying on anyone were a sign of weakness. But this idea is unrealistic and creates unnecessary pressure and guilt. No one is completely independent. We all depend on relationships, systems, and exchanges. The problem isn't dependence. It's the lack of financial clarity and control over your own money. When a mindset seeks absolute control, anxiety grows and scarcity takes over. Financial autonomy, on the other hand, is liberating. It comes from knowledge, organization, and the ability to make conscious decisions. Knowing how much comes in, how much goes out, where to invest, and which risks to take changes everything. Autonomy means being able to choose, negotiate, plan, and position yourself with confidence. When you understand the money game, it stops being a burden and becomes a prosperity tool, paving the way for something essential: financial education as a solid foundation. Financial education as the foundation. Without financial education, money comes and goes without leaving a trace. And the feeling is always the same, running in circles. Understanding cash flow, fixed and variable costs, and family planning isn't for experts. It's for people who want financial clarity. A simple habit tracking expenses for 30 days already changes how you see where your energy and money are leaking. With organization, the mind leaves survival mode and starts seeing possibilities. From there, concepts like emergency funds, investing, and financial goals stop being scary. Starting can be simple: 3 to 6 months of expenses saved, short and midterm goals, and an active search for knowledge. Books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, and Think and Grow Rich help reprogram beliefs and expand vision. Financial education isn't about getting rich fast. It's about building financial autonomy consistently. And that opens the door to a liberating truth. Money is not a reward for effort. Money is not effort. There's a common belief that the harder you work, the more money you should make. But the market doesn't reward sweat. It rewards problem solving, demand, and perceived value. Someone can work 12 hours a day and remain stuck in scarcity, while another earns well by solving a specific problem intelligently. When this clicks, mindset shifts from exhaustion to strategy. Think of a simple example: a pothole in front of a house. The person suffering is the one who passes it every day. The person who fixes it isn't selling effort, they're selling relief. That's how money circulates and multiplies. Prospering requires observing pain points, taking risks, creating desire, and offering practical solutions. This understanding removes the focus from burnout and places energy where it actually works: on people, not money itself. Focus on people, not money. When money becomes the only focus, it seems to run away. The more you chase it, the farther it feels. That's because the energy is centered on lack, not abundance. When your focus shifts to people, real needs, and problem solving, prosperity shows up as a consequence. Money is an effect, not a cause. Creativity is born from observation. What's bothering people around you? What can be simplified, improved, or solved? That's where business ideas, services, and conscious investments emerge. When you generate usefulness, deliver value, and meet demand, money circulates naturally. This focus removes emotional weight from the financial pursuit and prepares the ground for something essential. Clearly defining what a rich life means to you. Clarity on what a rich life is. A rich life has no single formula despite what social media tries to sell. For some, wealth is free time. For others, it's security, experiences, travel, or emotional peace. Without this personal definition, the pursuit of money becomes endless. always feeling like something is missing. Financial clarity begins when you decide what truly matters and stop living on comparison autopilot. Clear goals work like a finish line. How much do you need to earn? For what purpose? By when? When this becomes clear, frustration decreases and decisions gain direction. A prosperous mindset understands that prospering isn't mindless accumulation. It's aligning money, purpose, and conscious choices. This clarity opens space for a topic that often scares people but is unavoidable: risk and money multiplication. Risk and money multiplication. Many people associate risk only with loss, but not taking risks almost always guarantees scarcity. Saving money out of fear without strategy is also risky, just invisible. Understanding how the market works brings financial clarity and reduces fear. Risk isn't gambling. It's analysis, preparation, and awareness. Those who learn this begin to see money as something alive, capable of growing and multiplying. Money multiplication doesn't need to start with big investments. Simple examples show this: buying ingredients and selling desserts, reselling products, offering a service based on knowledge. The focus isn't the initial amount. It's the logic of generating more value than you invested. When you understand this dynamic, investing stops being a threat and becomes a prosperity tool, and gradually, a new internal challenge appears, stopping the need to justify wanting money. Stop justifying your desire for money. There's a silent guilt around wanting money, as if prospering were selfish or excessive. Many people feel the need to explain themselves, justify, or downplay their financial desires. This reinforces scarcity mindset and weakens the sense of deserving. Wanting to prosper is legitimate. Comfort, security, and choice don't take anything from anyone. They expand possibilities. Prosperity begins when you recognize your financial dignity and personal value. The world is abundant, but those who only see lack keep making fear-based decisions. When your perspective changes, you start seeing opportunities, demand, and growth paths. Stopping apologizing for wanting more is a key step toward the next level. Understanding that the greatest investment you can make is in yourself. You are the greatest investment. Many people invest time, energy, and money in everything except themselves. There's fear around spending on courses, therapy, image, communication, or personal development. But this resistance keeps scarcity alive. When you don't invest in who you are, your knowledge and worldview, you directly limit your ability to generate value and prosperity. Investing in yourself strengthens mindset, clarity, presence, and even spirituality, if that resonates with you. Books, mentorships, better communication skills, emotional health, and energy care expand your problem-solving capacity and sharpen opportunity perception. Money comes and goes. Knowledge stays. This understanding reshapes your relationship with risk and prepares your vision for something essential. Money is a means, not an end. Money is a means, not an end. When money becomes the final goal, the journey feels heavy and empty. Even those who achieve strong financial results can feel lost, anxious, or dissatisfied. True wealth goes beyond currency. Money is a tool, not an identity. It exists to expand choices, enable experiences, and support a meaningful, balanced life. Real value lies in experiences lived, people helped, and impact created. When purpose guides financial decisions, prosperity becomes lighter and more sustainable. A prosperous mindset understands that wealth includes time, health, relationships, and inner peace. This broader view removes the weight of financial obsession and leads to an essential conclusion. Prospering starts within and is built along the journey. You deserve abundance, not as a privilege, but as a natural result of aligning mindset, choices, and conscious action. Change doesn't start with how much you earn. It starts with what you believe about yourself, money, and the world. When old beliefs fall, prosperity finally has space to enter. Prospering means being useful, creating value, solving problems, and putting your knowledge in service of the world. Financial freedom isn't a distant future point. It's a daily construction made of clarity, learning, and courage. The journey matters as much as the destination, because it's along the way that you transform. And when you change, money changes its behavior with you. So now, ask yourself honestly, what kind of relationship do you want to build with money from now on? One based on fear and scarcity, or on financial clarity, purpose, and abundance? What still blocks your mindset today? Lack of knowledge, old beliefs, or fear of taking risks? Every transformation begins when these questions stop being avoided and start being faced. Prospering doesn't require perfection. It requires awareness and action. Maybe the first step is seeking more financial education, organizing simple numbers, or investing in yourself as your main asset. Maybe it's shifting focus, less obsession with money, more attention on creating value, solving problems, and serving people. Financial freedom doesn't happen overnight. It's built the moment you decide to stop sabotaging yourself and start acting with intention. If this content resonated with you, continue this journey. Subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and follow the next videos on prosperity, financial autonomy, investing, and building a rich life with balance and meaning.